talk about the coming rebellion, we're going to talk just as much about the lore as anything else. And for those of you who are like, oh, lore, what are you talking about? You know, I don't think you guys understand. If you've been ignoring the lore, then you've been missing out. A big part of the lore is preparing the way for gameplay that goes above and beyond just the typical card game that we're accustomed to playing. Splinterlands could be so much more, right, than just the card game that we are accustomed to with wild and modern formats. So with that in mind, we are building out a world that is so robust, with so much depth, with so many layers, that I think that it will blow your guys' minds as we kind of dive into it. But one of the first things that, something that's already been mentioned in our previous panel with After Sound. And by the way, before I get into it, let's see, where is After Sound? Do we see him? Oh, he's this way. So, oh, there he is.
Hey, After Sound, everybody.
Yeah.
I want to point out that for those of you who are in cosplay, or if you guys want to help the marketing effort to rise up and shout out to the world, we are Splinterlands, we are Splinterfest, then you can hunt him down wherever he's at. He'll be roaming around. He'll have a special limited edition hologram foiled Rift Watchers collectible cards that you cannot find unless you follow his directions. There you go. They're very cool. They're shiny. They're shiny.
I got one.
So something that After Sound brought up when he was on stage was the term VONAK. And it is using the common time that is most utilized in Praetoria. And for those of you who are not in the know, Praetoria is where most of the events are currently occurring in the Splinterlands. It's where the invasion first happened as it spread across the globe, the world of the Splinterlands. But something we wanted to really kind of get into and emphasize is the fact that, VO, meaning to be aligned, to move in the same direction, this is much more meaningful in the Splinterlands world than you would think. Keep in mind, this is a very fractured world where there's a million different races and cultures and kingdoms and societies and groups of people that all feel very differently, have a wide range of different religions and different cultures and different practices. And so the idea that any one of these factions, these splinters, would ever be aligned is almost laughable, very unlikely. So the term VO is usually very sparingly, because usually it's only by coincidence that sometimes some of these factions kind of end up running the same direction. So to say that, VO usually means that two people who would normally possibly be enemies happen to have a common goal at that particular time, and it's usually coincidental. NUK, it means some sort of elevated purpose, a drive, an intense motivation to act. And to understand the term NUK means that it's a fire in your belly. It means that it's almost the same as breathing. It's not a choice, really. It's something you need to do. You absolutely have to do. And so when you put the two words together, VONAK, it is together we rise. And as we get into the lore of the Splinterlands and what's happening with the Chaos Legion, we keep in mind that the world has now been conquered. For those of you who have been reading the lore of Chaos Legion, it's no longer a war. It's done. The war has been won by the Chaos Legion, and now the Splinterlands lives within the shadow of this looming empire, this oppressive, centralized entity that is basically dictating what people can and cannot do across the world. And so VONAK is really about the battle mages coming together under secrecy, sometimes in whispers, VONAK. Sometimes they're loud about it, a war cry, VONAK. But whenever you hear it, keep in mind that there's a lot of weight to it. It's a word that is used when you're facing off against the enemy and you say, against this common threat, we will work together against the Chaos Empire in this regard. And the purpose is essentially to come together for peace, prosperity, and freedom. And I'm sure you've heard those words from Agro, and the same holds true for any peoples, whether they live in our reality or another, in terms of finding a better life. That is VONAK. And so something I want to do is, like yesterday in Vegas, the family, we went to a German restaurant, And it was so boisterous and so amazing. There would usually be, oi, 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 and suddenly everyone has their tankards in the air, and they're like, oi, 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 and they're drinking out, and they oh, this is like a party. And so lots of times I imagine in the taverns across the Splinterlands, the same thing is happening. VONAK, and everyone goes, VONAK! So I want you guys to keep in mind, treat it as a high five. Don't let your fellow players or battle mages, don't leave them hanging. If another battle mage, whether it's at the VIP dinner, whether it is roaming around, whether it's grabbing a snack upstairs or downstairs, if someone pulls up their bottle of beer or their Coca-Cola or says, VONAK, you better shout VONAK back. That is basically the Splinterlands tradition that we are starting with this first Splinterfest.
Thanks for watching. Here's a couple of videos for you to check out. And of course,
hit that like button and that subscribe button right next to it.
we appreciate you all.
We're having a good time.